Hello, today is Good Friday, the Easter weekend. One that I have had busy in my calendar for a few months now. And it also just so happens to be one of the highest pollen counts of the year so far. And my God, I'm feeling it. My glands, I don't think I'm ill, I don't think I've got a cold or anything, because I can tell because it's like kind of runny eyes, and also because there is a huge pollen count, whatever it is, I don't know what the term is, this week. So in the last 24 hours, have increasingly felt full of like cold symptoms. And my throat is very, very sore, and I'm very congested, and also very streamy eyes and stuff. And I sat outside a minute ago to enjoy some of the amazing sunshine that is happening here right now. And I didn't last more than 10 minutes before I thought my throat was closing over. So it's definitely allergy related. So I have this intense run of gigs these next 3 days. The reason why I call them intense is because they're going to require a lot of energy from me to get through them in this state. The first one is tonight, and it's a solo gig where I'm singing all the party stuff. It's not like a chilled one. In fact, the chilled stuff, as I've mentioned before, is actually the hardest stuff to kind of get through, because people are really listening and it's quieter, and you have to be quieter, and that involves more control. So the big party stuff is not too bad. People can dance and sing along. But if I blow it tonight, then tomorrow night's gig is really important. It's a band gig. And they're not the kind of songs that I could just say to one of the other singers, backing singers, can you take this one? Because they're like really personally chosen songs by me for this particular set. This is like all of the kind of really, really great soul stuff that I love. That I do in some of my sets that I don't really get to kind of push out that much, because I'm often asked to do these kind of big party things, and this is much more kind of listening stuff, soulful. And I need to be well for that one, because I'm carrying it. And also, we've spent months rehearsing for this, and I just want to get it sounding great. I want it to be filmed so that I can use some of it. So when you're kind of not in top form, then you end up not wanting to use those videos, and it becomes a bit of a waste of time. But if I haven't lost my voice tonight in time for tomorrow, then I'm probably likely to lose my voice tomorrow night in time for Sunday. And the one on Sunday is really important. It's a solo gig again. It's the same big party stuff, but it's in a nightclub, and they've done tickets, and I don't want it to be cabaret, I don't want it to be karaoke, I want it to be like people have come in and they've had an experience and they go away going, wow, what a friggin' night, what an amazing singer, or something like that, whatever it is they take away from it. But I just need to be in good health, and I'm feeling before this run of gigs that I'm not in good health. And you can see throughout the videos in the past week that I knew I was heading for a burnout. Now maybe the allergies maybe the allergies are what have triggered the burnout, but because I'm exhausted and because I'm heading for it and because I've had a bit of a rough week, it's like it's gripped on to that, and my immune system is just starting to crumble. So I've got to get through this. So I guess in an average job or a 9 to 5, like today is Bank Holiday Friday, and on Monday you've got another bank holiday, and lots of people have got this nice 4-day weekend. Now I am not complaining about the workload that I have, because these gigs are my living, although not really Saturday night, because that's a band and it's a pub, and people don't really get very much money for between them when it's a band and a pub. But my 2 solo gigs either side will mean I take home a good weekend wage. And I'm not going to complain about it, because I now don't get that far from my house. I've got the whole day at home to kind of chill out and do what I want to do, get more ill. But there is no time off, is what I'm trying to say. Monday there's some time off, which would be nice. And Sunday, I guess, at the gig I can have a couple of drinks, my husband's driving, so I do get to enjoy it in the same way. But midweek, I was able to take a couple of days off of teaching. There are two reasons why I feel comfortable taking the time off during teaching. One is because I don't actually want to make anybody else ill, and that's really, really important in any work environment. I'm not saying that everybody, every single cold needs to be off, but you do need to be mindful of other people. And this is like their assessment week. I don't want any of my students ill. I don't want any of the staff ill. So if I'm feeling ill, then I'm not going to bring it in. And two, my job is secure. So okay, I'm still technically self-employed when it comes to teaching. So if I don't do the work, I don't get paid. But that's a sacrifice I make. But at the same time, I can still go back to it next week. I've still got my job, and those in that environment appreciate when everybody's feeling under the weather that they need a little bit of time off. I think it's different when you have a gig because people sell tickets and they sell tickets, they book tables. And one thing I have learned is that if I'm going to pull out of a gig, it has to be at a point where I am absolutely, utterly desperate and I cannot do it. I will always try and find somebody else in my position. It's happened a couple of times and I've found replacements, it's fine. But I have then had kind of tongue-in-cheek backlash from people that have booked tables and, you know, oh, turned up and you weren't even bloody here, you know. And it's like, oh God, you know, I don't know who books tables, I don't know who books up. All I can do is just apologise to the venue, and they're always great. But if it's somewhere you haven't played before, then you pull out. It kind of makes you look unprofessional and unreliable. So I think that's why people such as myself or any self-employed musicians, singers tend to work through the illness, because I don't think they don't want the bad press for themselves. You know, they have to build up a strong, trusting client base, and you don't want to let people down. And two, you know, it's work, it's money. I think a lot of us think that it's easy for us now. We've got a routine, we can go out and do these things. So if we can still get through it, then we can still earn money. But I have to calculate whether or not I can afford to be ill next week due to this weekend, or whether I can't afford to be ill, so I pull out of certain things. So I think I'm going to look at my calendar and see what I have going on next week, apart from water bear assessments, which are very important. Let's see what else is happening. I've got a studio day on Thursday, which is fine. If I was required to sing lots, then I would probably not do it. But the fact is, we're kind of filming and we're putting down some keyboard parts and things, so I can manage that. That's on Thursday. Tuesday and Wednesday will be in Brighton, and I think I will just get through that as best I can. Monday is off, so I've got a day of recovery, which is good. Oh, hello, ding dong. Let's see what else is happening. Let's see what gigs I have next week. So this is where you have to kind of think, can I recover enough? So on Friday night I'm playing at a place called Katie's Vinyl Bar, which I really love. And it's taken me, I kind of get in there sort of like every 3 months, 4 months. So I want to be in good form for that. And then Saturday I'm playing at a place called Zetti's, which is a residency. Great people. If I had to pull out, that'd be fine. But they sell out every single table like a month before I get in there. So at the end of one gig, the tables are booked for the next gig. So it's really lovely, but there's a lot of pressure. And then Saturday I have a big rehearsal, big rehearsal, with a big band that I've set up. There's like 10 of us in it, so it's going to be really, really big and fun. And I think that's kind of no pressure. The week afterwards I have 2 gigs, and a relatively chill week. So the moral of the story is, this weekend I can probably afford to push it. And you do have to weigh up these odds, you know, you have to kind of look and see, do I have enough time to recover? What are the gigs next week? Can I get through them? One's a residency that if I was desperately ill, I could find somebody else. The other one is Katie's Final Bar. I really, really like that place. I don't get in there often, so I've got to try and get myself good for that one. But after that, we're kind of in a chilled zone. So yes, it's definitely, you don't get to just be ill. You kind of have to plan your illness around your work. And I know there's lots of people that will kind of empathise with that a little bit, and also kind of recognise parts of themselves in that. When you are a self-employed musician singer, you have to plan your illnesses strategically. You have to weigh up if you're going to affect somebody else or if you're going to not have enough recovery time. If you're not going to harm anybody else, you can do what you need to do. If you have students, or if you have other bandmates that need to be on top form, think about it. And if you don't have enough recovery time, or you have some huge things the following week that you need to be top of your game for, and we're talking things like if you'd booked in and paid for studio time, or you had a conference that you were delivering, or something really, really big to you, if you didn't think that you could recover in time to give the best of your ability, then you'd probably need to reassess whether you should pull out certain gigs this side of the weekend. For me, I've got plenty of time to recover, so I'm going to probably have a big blowout this weekend. But like I say, it's mainly down to allergies. Friggin' hay fever, honestly, it just wipes you out. So yeah, I guess today's video is about planning your life around your self-employment, and thinking ahead like that, not quite having the luxury of being able to have a sick day, still get paid for it, or perhaps just a day of rest. You've got to plan and see if you can actually fit that in. And yeah, so like I say, a chilled day at home today, doing some bits and pieces, some work on my masters, and then gig this evening. I shall see you tomorrow.